When God is about to bless a woman, all of hell begins to tremble. Because there is nothing more dangerous to the enemy's plans than a woman who has survived the storms, endured the pain, cried in the midnight hour, and yet still stands. A woman who has been tested and broken, but not destroyed. A woman who has been overlooked, underestimated, pushed aside, time and told no more times than she can count, but still has faith. When God gets ready to bless that woman, the world has to make room. When destiny rests upon your shoulders, it doesn't come wrapped in comfort, it comes wrapped in weight. That's why the road you walk doesn't look like the road everybody else is walking. People may wonder why your life seems harder, why your battles are fiercer, why your struggles run deeper than theirs. It is because what you are carrying is not ordinary. The weight of destiny is heavy. It stretches you, it tests you, it presses you in places you never thought you could endure. Because what you are about to give birth to requires a vessel strong enough to hold it. Ordinary assignments don't demand extraordinary preparation. But when heaven marks you to release something world-changing, you can expect the process to feel overwhelming. You've asked yourself, why me? Why do I have to go through this storm? Why do I keep getting pushed to the breaking point? It's because the breaking is part of the making. Gold doesn't shine until it's been refined by fire. Diamonds don't sparkle until they've been cut. And destiny doesn't reveal its glory until it has first crushed you under its pressure. If you were carrying something small, your journey would be easy. If your assignment was average, you could breeze through life with no tears, no sweat, no warfare. But you've been set apart, and the pain you feel is the proof that God trusted you with a greater portion. The labor pains of destiny don't show up in the beginning. They show up right before the birthing. That's why you've been feeling the pressure increase. That's why it feels like everything is tightening around you, like time is running short, like the contractions of life are coming faster and harder. It's not a sign that you are losing, it's a sign that you are close. The closer you get to delivery, the more intense the pain becomes. And though the pain makes you want to give up, the promise is worth the push. You must understand that the stretching is not meant to break you, but to expand you. If you stay in the same place you've always been, with the same capacity you've always had, you would not have room to hold what's coming. God stretches your patience so you can carry peace. He stretches your faith so you can carry vision. He stretches your strength so you can carry influence. You are being enlarged in places that no one else can see, because what's forming inside of you is bigger than what the outside world can measure. And while others may not understand your struggle, you must not let their misunderstanding rob you of your perseverance. They don't know the call on your life. They don't know the weight you've been chosen to carry. Some people can settle for ordinary, but you can't. You feel restless with average because you were never created for average. That unease, that holy dissatisfaction is destiny whispering to you that there is more. And because there is more, you will feel the resistance of the process. So don't despise the heaviness. Don't curse the weight. Don't think the struggle means you've been abandoned. On the contrary, it means you've been chosen. Chosen to carry something that cannot be birthed without sweat, without tears, without warfare. And when the day comes that the weight turns into birth, when the season shifts from labor to delivery, you will understand why the struggle was so great. You will realize that every sleepless night, every broken moment, every painful step was a divine preparation for the glory you were destined to release. The weight of destiny may hurt, but it will not destroy you. It will only shape you into the vessel strong enough to deliver what heaven has placed inside of you. The very fact that the enemy has unleashed so much warfare against your life ought to tell you something. Battles don't break out where there is nothing worth fighting over. Thieves don't break into empty houses. Attacks don't come against people who are carrying nothing of value. The warfare you've been enduring is not a sign that you're forgotten. It's a sign that you're carrying something precious. It's proof that heaven has marked you for greatness, and hell has noticed. The pressure, the obstacles, the relentless attacks, they all confirm that something is on the way that the enemy is desperate to stop. Look at the seasons you've walked through. Time. You've survived storms that would have drowned somebody else. You've endured betrayals that could have left another person bitter. You've come through losses that could have broken someone's mind, but you're still here. And not only are you still standing, but you're standing with purpose. That's why the attacks intensify, because the closer you get to breakthrough, the more the enemy panics. He knows that once you step into what God has for you, you will not just change your own life, you'll shift the atmosphere around you, you'll influence others, you'll set captives free. The warfare has been fierce because the blessing is big. If it were small, the resistance would be light. But the size of the battle reveals the size of the promise. Don't mistake the chaos as punishment. Don't confuse the fire as abandonment. This is confirmation. If nothing were ahead of you, the enemy would leave you alone. The warfare is his last desperate attempt to keep you from walking into the fullness of your destiny. Think about the weight of what you've been fighting. Depression tried to silence your voice. Fear tried to paralyze your steps. Discouragement tried to rob your faith. Every attack has been strategic because the enemy knows that if he can shut down your faith, he can delay your blessing. But even in the fire, you've held on. Even in the valley, you've whispered prayers. Even when you felt like giving up, something inside of you refused to quit. That resilience is not your own strength. It is God's strength rising in you, reminding you that the warfare cannot stop what has already been spoken over your life. Sometimes the warfare gets so heavy that you question if you're even on the right path. But let me tell you, the path of destiny is never smooth. Resistance is the road sign that you are moving in the right direction. The enemy does not chase people going nowhere. He only chases those who are a threat to his kingdom. And you, my friend, are a threat. You've been chosen to disrupt generational cycles, to tear down strongholds, to release blessings that ripple beyond your own lifetime. That's why the fight is so vicious, because the impact of your victory will echo for generations. So instead of letting the warfare discourage you, let it encourage you. Let it remind you that something is about to break. Let it stir your faith to push harder, pray deeper, and stand taller. The warfare is not your ending. It's the labor before delivery. It is the shaking that comes before the blessing is revealed. And when the dust settles, the very things that tried to break you will become the evidence that you are carrying something too powerful to ignore. Yes, the warfare is real, but so is the promise. Yes, the attacks are painful, but so is the blessing worth the fight. And when you finally step into what has been prepared for you, you will look back at the enemy's attempts and laugh, because you'll realize that none of it was strong enough to stop you. The warfare was proof all along. You were destined for something big. Would you like me to now expand key point 3 in the same style and depth so it builds like a progressive sermon series? And before elevation comes separation. That's the part nobody likes to talk about, because separation hurts. It feels like loss. It feels like rejection. It feels like being left behind. But what if the separation wasn't punishment? What if the very people walking away, the very doors slamming shut, the very circles that no longer welcome you? What if all of that is the hand of God clearing the space for something greater? Sometimes you think people are abandoning you, but in reality, God is removing them because they cannot go where He's taking you. See, when you're being prepared for a blessing that is bigger than you imagine, you can't take everybody with you. Not because they're bad people, but because their capacity doesn't match your calling. Some people can only understand the version of you that was broken, needy, or dependent. They were comfortable with you in struggle, but they can't handle you in strength. They were fine when you were limited, but they'll resent you when you expand. So God, in His mercy, begins to separate you from what would suffocate your next season. And that's why your phone doesn't ring like it used to. That's why the invitations stopped coming. That's why certain friendships dried up and certain opportunities slipped through your fingers. It wasn't because you weren't good enough. It was because you were too chosen to settle there. You thought that door was meant to be yours, but if it had opened, it would have confined you to a level beneath your destiny. God closed it, not to hurt you, but to protect what He planted inside you. When separation shows up, it often feels like loneliness. You sit in rooms by yourself, wondering why the people you thought would be with you forever are nowhere to be found. But that loneliness is actually incubation. Just like a seed must be buried alone before it grows, you too must endure seasons where you are hidden and set apart, not forgotten, not forsaken, just planted. And when the time comes, what looked like isolation will reveal itself as preparation. The truth is, Not everyone can handle the weight of your elevation. Some will envy it, some will misunderstand it, some will even try to sabotage it. So God does the pruning for you. He cuts off what looks alive but is draining your energy. He detaches you from what was comfortable but unfruitful. He removes the people who clap in your face but doubt you behind your back. Because if he doesn't, their presence in your next season could choke out your purpose. Separation is not rejection, it is redirection. Every time someone walks out, God is pointing you towards someone who will walk in. Every time a chapter closes, he is writing a new one. Every time a door shuts, he is preparing to open a greater one. And though it hurts in the moment, you will one day thank God for the people who left, for the doors that closed, for the circles that rejected you. Because without them, you wouldn't have had the space to receive what is coming. So don't fight the separation. Don't beg people to stay who are determined to leave. Don't mourn doors that were never meant for you. Stand still and trust that the pruning is making room for the promise. Because when the blessing finally comes, you'll understand why certain people couldn't walk with you into it. The separation was the soil in which your elevation was planted. And when God raises you up, you will see it clearly. Every goodbye was setting you up for a greater hello. When a new season begins to stir inside of you, the first sign isn't the blessing in your hands, it's the transformation in your spirit. You wake up one day and realize the things that used to excite you no longer move you. The conversations that once satisfied you now feel empty. The environments that once felt comfortable now feel suffocating. That's because God is shifting your appetite. He is enlarging your spirit to prepare you for what's next. And you can't carry a greater blessing with an old mindset. You can't step into destiny with a taste for mediocrity. So he begins to change you from the inside out before he reveals what he's bringing on the outside. There's a restlessness that comes when you're outgrowing a season. People may accuse you of being distant or acting different. But the truth is, you are different. You've seen too much to settle. You've endured too much to go back. You can't find joy in crumbs anymore because your spirit knows there's a table being set. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. Your heart is aligning with heaven's agenda, and that alignment forces you to let go of what no longer matches your calling. Transformation doesn't always look glamorous. Sometimes it looks like loneliness. Sometimes it looks like weeping through the night. Sometimes it looks like wrestling with yourself, because part of you wants to cling to the familiar while the other part is reaching for the future. Change always requires tension. The old version of you doesn't die quietly. It fights to stay alive, even while the new you is being born. That inner struggle is proof that God is doing surgery on your soul, cutting away what cannot go with you, making room for what he is about to release. And when that transformation is happening, you may feel misunderstood. People who once, you may no longer understand you. They'll say you've changed, and they're right. But what they don't realize is that your change is necessary. To stay the same would be to deny the call of God on your life. So don't apologize for outgrowing conversations that drain your faith. Don't apologize for walking away from relationships that poison your peace. Don't apologize for pursuing vision when others are content with comfort. Transformation demands sacrifice. The reward will outweigh the cost. Think of it this way: a caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly without entering a cocoon. That cocoon season feels dark, tight, and hidden, but it's in that confinement where the transformation happens. If the caterpillar fought to stay the same, it would never spread its wings. And if you fight to stay who you've always been, you'll never see who you were always meant to become. The discomfort you feel right now is your cocoon. It's proof that wings are being formed in you. So don't fear the change. Embrace it. Lean into it. Let God stretch your vision, shift your appetite, and enlarge your capacity. Because when the blessing arrives, you'll see why he had to transform you first. Without the change, you would not have been ready to carry the weight of the promise. The blessing isn't just about what you receive. It's about who you become. And who you are becoming right now is the vessel strong enough, wise enough, and prepared enough to handle the greater that is on the way. Pain has a way of making us question everything: our purpose, our future, even our worth. When the nights get long and the tears refuse to stop, it's easy to wonder if any of it matters. But what if I told you the pain itself is proof that purpose is alive inside of you? What if I told you every tear has been watering the ground of your destiny? What if I told you the hurt is not wasted, but working? See, pain is never without purpose when it's placed in the hands of God. Look back at the moments that almost broke you, the heartbreak that left you gasping for air, the loss that shattered your world, the betrayal that cut you to your core. You thought those moments would bury you, but somehow you're still standing. And not only are you standing, but you're stronger, wiser, sharper than you were before. That's because pain doesn't come to kill you, it comes to shape you. It chisels away the shallow parts of you. It strips off the illusions. It reveals the depths of who you are and the strength of who you can become. We live in a world that tries to avoid pain at all costs, but destiny doesn't grow in comfort. Destiny grows in the dark soil of tears, in the silence of lonely nights, in the ache of unanswered prayers. What feels like breaking is really building. What feels like ending is really beginning. Because pain has an assignment, and that assignment is to prepare you to carry the blessing that's ahead. There's a weight to glory. There's a cost to greatness. And if you're going to handle the magnitude of what's coming, you have to be forged in the fire of affliction. Pain teaches you endurance. It teaches you empathy. It teaches you how to trust God when nothing makes sense. It teaches you to lean not on your own strength, but on a strength greater than you. Without pain, you'd celebrate the blessing, but never understand its value. Without pain, you'd reach the promise, but never appreciate the process. Pain makes you treasure what's on the other side. And hear this, your pain isn't just about you. Someone else's breakthrough is tied to your testimony. Someone else's healing will come when they hear how you survived. Someone else's faith will rise when they see how you endured. The pain you carry is not wasted, it is prophetic. It's declaring to the world that if you can survive what you survive, then surely God can bring them through, too. That's why your pain is so powerful. It becomes a platform for hope. You may not see it now, but the very thing that hurt you will one day help you. The tears you cried will be the seed of your joy. The storm you endured will be the soil of your strength. The heartbreak you thought would end, you will be the tool God uses to enlarge your heart for others. Nothing is wasted. Every ounce of pain is a piece of preparation. So don't despise it, don't curse it, don't think it means you've been abandoned. See it for what it really is, a teacher, a refiner, a shaper. Because when the blessing comes, and you'll understand why the pain had to come first. You'll realize that without the crushing, there could be no oil. Without the breaking, there could be no beauty. Without the tears, there could be no testimony. The pain is proof that purpose is alive in you, and its purpose is to prepare you for a glory greater than anything you could imagine. When the time finally comes for what God has promised you to be revealed, nothing in this world and nothing in the pits of hell can stop it. You may have faced delay, you may have endured detours, you may have been pressed on every side, but when the appointed moment arrives, the blessing will break through every barrier. It will come so strong, so undeniable, that even those who doubted you will have to step back and acknowledge. This was the hand of God. The blessing that is ahead of you is not fragile. It's not something that can be stolen by gossip or destroyed by jealousy. It's not something that can be sabotaged by your enemies or hindered by your past mistakes. What God has ordained for your life carries His seal of authority, and His word does not return void. That means no weapon, no witchcraft, no slander, no opposition has the power to cancel it. You may bend under the weight of waiting, but you will not break, because what He spoke will surely come to pass. Think about how many times you thought it was over. You thought the setback disqualified you. You thought the betrayal destroyed you. You thought the delay meant denial. But here you are, still breathing, still standing, still moving forward. That alone is proof that the blessing is unstoppable. Because if the enemy could have stopped you, he would have by now. The fact that you're still here means the promise is still alive. And when that blessing arrives, it won't be small or quiet. It won't slip in unnoticed. It will be so big that it will silence every critic, overturn every lie, and rewrite every story that was spoken against you. The same mouths that said you'd never make it will have to declare, "Look what the Lord has done." The same eyes that watched you fall will have to witness you rise. The same hands that tried to block you will be powerless to hold you back. That's the nature of an unstoppable blessing. It comes with evidence that no one can deny. But let me remind you, unstoppable doesn't mean effortless. You will still face resistance, the wind will still blow, the waves will still crash, but the difference is they cannot overcome you. You may stumble, but you won't stay down. You may cry, but you won't collapse. You may struggle, but you won't surrender, because the blessing has already been secured in the heavens, and nothing on earth can cancel what has been decreed. This is why patience is so critical in the waiting season. The enemy wants you to forfeit too soon. He wants you to quit right before the finish line. But if you hold on, if you keep pressing, if you refuse to let go of the promise, you will see the manifestation. And when it comes, you'll realize why the warfare was so intense, because what you're carrying is too powerful to be stopped. So lift your head and square your shoulders. Stop living like you're defeated when you are already destined for victory. Stop shrinking back as if the blessing could slip away. What is meant for you cannot be lost. What is ordained for you cannot be destroyed. What is promised to you cannot be stopped. You are walking toward a blessing so undeniable that your enemies will become your witnesses, your pain will become your testimony, and your life will become the evidence that when God decrees a thing, it shall surely come to pass.